ahead on 12 News, legislation to crack down on drunken driving. It would affect first-time offenders. Then,
It has brought such rigor in the classroom, such excitement.
A celebrity encourages art at Northport Elementary. But first, terror in Brussels seen through the eyes of a Brooklyn Center pastor.
Amazed that all of that had happened so close to us.
12 News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. A Brooklyn Center pastor who was caught at the Brussels airport during Tuesday's terror attacks says it was a close call.
Yeah, a half hour earlier, and Pastor McKinley Moore would have been at the gate where the explosions occurred. Reporter Sonia Goins has more on his ordeal.
Pastor McKinley Moore is busy getting things ready for Easter service at Jehovah Jireh Church of God in Christ. It's a task he welcomes.
We stood around inside for 20 to 30 minutes after the explosion.
He wasn't even sure he'd be here for Easter. Pastor Moore was at Brussels airport when 2 bombs went off.
Didn't really say what happened or why. In the area that we were, there was no noise, there was no trembling.
If an airport official hadn't given him wrong information, he would have been right at the center of the 2 blasts.
I would have been right there, yeah. Or if it had happened a half an hour earlier, I was at that gate.
Pastor Moore says airport officials quickly rushed everyone to the opposite end of the airport, away from the turmoil and confusion.
More and more people would come, and then more and more were coming.
He says at that point, he didn't even know about the explosions.
One lady in particular just had this panicked look on her face, so you kind of got the idea that something was really happening.
20 minutes later, everyone was told to leave the airport without their luggage or carry-on bags.
We're all outside standing around wondering what was going on.
He was then put on a bus and taken to a warehouse.
There was this cotted area, again, open space, and then they began to set up another cot area.
Pastor Moore got a text message from his wife telling him about the terror attacks.
Well, I was just amazed that all of that had happened so close to us.
He knows time was on his side.
Just blessed. Greatly blessed, greatly blessed.
Although Pastor Moore was greatly inconvenienced, he was bound and determined to get here in time for Easter services. Pastor Moore arrived back home late Thursday night. He says, although this terrible thing happened,
my faith would not be shaken at all.
He's grateful for God's good grace, and he will go ahead and preach Easter service.
At any given moment, we could be leaving here. And so to be so close to that explosion, in fact, that could have been my moment or any place along the way.
In Brooklyn Center, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
At least 31 people were killed and 330 others injured in the explosions at the Brussels airport and subway station.
A fire in Brooklyn Park has resulted in first-degree arson charges. Serge Forkembe is accused of setting a fire inside a townhome on the 7500 block of Yates Lane North. According to the criminal complaint, the suspect was staying at his mother's home, and when a repairman arrived, he began following him around with a knife. The suspect then set cardboard on fire in the oven and lit curtains on fire. A sprinkler system inside the townhome was able to extinguish most of the flames.
Brooklyn Center lawmaker is pushing legislation to expand the state's DWI Ignition Interlock program. Senator Chris Eaton is sponsoring a bill that would require anyone convicted of driving while impaired for the first time to install a breathalyzer device in their vehicle. Such a device requires drivers to blow into a tube, and if it detects alcohol, the vehicle will not start. Backers of the legislation believe expanding the program will help change social attitudes about drinking and driving. Northport Elementary School is one of 4 schools in Minnesota selected to be a part of the Turnaround Arts program.
The public-private partnership leverages the arts to help turn around some of the nation's lowest performing schools. Today, the school's celebrity mentor came to visit, and reporter Shannon Slatton explains what it was like.
On the day before spring break at Northport Elementary, squeals of excitement were definitely not in short supply. Students here have their own celebrity, actor Doc Shaw, who has been on the Disney Channel and in Tyler Perry's House of Pain.
Man, I'm so happy to be out here with you all once again.
He's making another visit to the school he chose to mentor in the Turnaround Arts program.
Every child needs the opportunity to be successful, and I truly believe that if you have arts as well as athletics, as well as math, science, technology, everything, it makes a very well-rounded child, and it allows them to be successful at anything that they want to do.
Today, it's about fun on the court to celebrate spring break. But in the classroom, arts have become an important part of class.
Visual thinking strategies, which is another form of critical thinking. So just embedding the arts to increase rigor and understanding within reading and math.
Principal Leona Durden says arts integration has made a big difference here.
Climate, culture, behavior has decreased, kids' motivation has increased. It has made a huge difference. And our test scores are showing that is aligned with that as well to show that it has made a difference.
Part of today's fun and games will include creating a video showing off the progress of schools like Northport.
I want to show the president and the whole Turnaround Arts Committee the whole process of turning around one of these amazing schools and showing how much arts can do for kids here.
When students return from spring break, it will be time for state tests. Teachers hope Doc Shaw's visit will be another piece of encouragement for students to do their best.
Good game, good game.
In Brooklyn Center, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
Good game.
Each school in the program receives about $25,000 to use towards arts. The President's Committee on the Arts and Humanities oversees this program.
In Maple Grove, the City Council okayed plans for a Hy-Vee grocery store near the Corcoran border. A 96,000 square foot grocery store is slated to be built near Bass Lake Road and Brockton Lane. It would include a sit-down restaurant, coffee shop, and gas station. There's no timetable yet as to when construction will begin. The City Council members say they've received dozens of emails from residents expressing their excitement.
After 20 years of planning and acquiring land, the Northwest Greenway takes another big step closer to completion. The second segment of the long-awaited trail will be constructed this summer from east of Vicksburg Lane to just south of the Plymouth Dog Park. This section is about 1.5 miles and will include a pedestrian bridge over Vicksburg Lane. The city approved a $700,000 construction bid this week. Segment 2 should be complete by fall. Future plans will extend the trail west all the way to Wayzata High School and the Elm Creek playfields. Still ahead, a Perpich art student questions misconceptions about the Chinese fortune cookie.
Then later in sports, a new coach takes over the Armstrong softball program. We'll hear from the Falcons.
But first, an unsettled Saturday morning. There is a chance for rain and some snow. Spring break will take on a whole new meaning for a group of students from Armstrong and Cooper high schools.
About 60 high school students from Cooper, Armstrong, and other West Metro schools are taking a spring break trip designed to serve as a life-changing history lesson. One group will take a 9-day bus trip to learn about places significant to the civil rights movement, like Selma, Alabama, and South Carolina. The trip is designed to give students a deeper sense of history.
But what I'm planning to get out of this experience is knowledge that's not taught in the schools.
I want to take part in this experience to learn more about myself as a black female, because I don't learn about that on a day-to-day basis. So I think this is a good opportunity for me to explore who I actually am.
The students will document their experiences on social media, and you can find their posts by going online and looking up the West Metro Education Program, and that'll be on Facebook and Twitter. This week's Standout student is an artist with keen observation.
The senior at Perpich Center for Arts Education has an awareness that stretches well beyond her young age. For Sherrill Zheng, each brushstroke on canvas is another way to express herself.
I'm just really into, trying to see where my place is and how I can have a voice.
Admittedly shy, this 18-year-old at Perpich Arts High School prefers to let her artwork do the talking. And what it says speaks volumes about her experience.
It says, American-made but Chinese tries ineffectively to educate others on its culture.
She's this filter. She's this lens that absorbs all this stuff, and out it comes.
Zheng's experience as a Chinese American born and raised in Minnesota filters through her art. Take, for example, her editorial watercolor painting of a fortune cookie.
I really related with that idea of, looking Chinese, but coming from here.
The fortune cookie is one in a series of 6 paintings that won Zheng a National Scholastic Arts Award in a category with 68,000 other entries.
She is someone who absorbs everything around her. If artists are to observe the world, the time and place they live in, Sherrill is just taking things in all the time.
Visual arts instructor Pat Benincasa is struck by Zheng's thoughtfulness and her ability to express the unspoken.
When you look at this work, you're drawn to it. You can't walk by that work. I defy you. Walk by that work. You can't.
For Zheng, art is an outlet, but what she loves most about it is that art is experienced differently by each person.
Something that you want to admire, you want to think about, or you want to, maybe you don't like it and you just want to like criticize it, and that's fine too, you know.
While Zheng knows art will always be a part of her life, she hasn't decided yet what role it will play in a future career. Zheng's teacher believes the sky's the limit.
Anything she puts her mind to, are you kidding me? It's a done deed.
Zheng is currently considering different art schools for the fall.
If you have an interest in bugs, plants, and clean water, Hennepin County has a volunteer opening for you. They're looking for about 100 volunteers to monitor wetlands across the county. The idea is to keep a watch for any changes in water quality and track the impacts of restoration efforts.
You know, and you get to go on a team and you get to do stuff that you don't do every day. You put on waders and you go out with nets and you collect bugs and look at vegetation and, you know, get waist deep in a wetland. It's pretty fun, you know.
Sure. It takes about 15 hours a month through the summer, and there is some training required, but no science background is needed. Well, coming up, what's billed as the largest Easter egg hunt in Minnesota? You'll find it in Maple Grove.
But first, the Wayzata baseball team welcomes their head coach back this spring. Jay Wilcox has the details coming up next in sports.
Baseball's not too far away, and there will be a familiar face in the dugout for Wayzata.
Yeah, returning to the field this year, and that's a good thing for he and his team, it sounds like. Wayzata baseball coach Bobby DeWitt sat out last season for family reasons, but is returning this spring, and he'll lead a solid group. Here's Jason Malillo with more.
The Trojans will have a deep pitching staff led by big lefty Tom Scoro, and they'll lean on those strong arms and solid defense early in the season.
It's definitely going to be a strength for us, because we do have a lot of pitchers, which means we can get a lot of innings eaten up, and then guys can get rest when they need it, and so we're not really using guys too much, I guess.
Wayzata had a good run last spring, grinding all the way to the section final, despite being without head coach Bobby DeWitt, who took the year off to help care for a sick family member. DeWitt says he missed coaching a lot and is happy to be back for 2016.
I'm very excited. I'm very glad. Taking a year off was difficult. I'm very grateful the baseball community would let me come back. It was a long year, and just trying to get back in the pool and get my feet wet. It's been a little slow going at first. I've definitely relied upon my coaches who took my spot to kind of get me back into the groove, but very excited, very happy to be here.
You know, last year we had a successful year, but I always felt like we were missing a key piece of the team, and Bobby, he adds something to the dugout that's, you can't really replicate. Sometimes we'll all notice ourselves, when Bobby's there, we kind of start to fire up a little bit more.
Playing in the Lake Conference in Section 6-4A, the Trojans know every game will be tough. But this team strikes a good balance of having fun and playing hard, and that could carry them to another deep postseason run. Jason Malillo, 12 Sports.
The Trojans open the season April 8th at Osseo. Their home opener is April 14th against Waconia. In prep softball, Armstrong has a new coach as they try to bounce back from a down year in 2015. After a tough 2015 campaign, the Armstrong softball team is ready for a fresh start. New coach Joe Fatante, who's coached primarily in the Shakopee Youth Fast Pitch program, takes over as the Falcons head coach.
We had a huge turnout this year for girls. I think actually it's the biggest turnout we've ever had. Actually put a little pressure on. I had to find a couple additional coaches for an additional team that we had to put together. I think we had it up over 62 or 3 girls, so we'll have 4 teams this year. Girls have worked really hard the first week and a half of the season.
It's definitely been a lot more structured. I love the way he runs the practices. I'm very much looking forward to our first game. I think we've improved so far within the last 2 weeks that we've started.
The Falcons won just 1 game a season ago and admit that it was hard to stay upbeat through the whole year.
Definitely, it was really hard on us, especially when we didn't really know like what was going wrong. We were working hard, we were really organized and everything, but we just didn't know. We were trying to figure it out.
There is a fair amount of varsity experience coming back. Catcher Caitlin Jones is a 4-year regular. Outfielders Maddie Clare and Joyce Yellowhammer are back, and pitcher Michaela McIntosh returns as well. That leads to optimism for a better season.
I believe we have a much stronger attitude towards it. I believe that our defense will be a lot stronger as well as our hitting.
Here we go. Coaching continuity has been lacking in the Falcons program. Fatante hopes to change that and has some former Armstrong players as assistants too.
I brought in some coaches who I think will be here for the long term. There are some younger coaches who are very energetic, so I'm hoping that we'll be able to keep the staff together for a number of years to come.
Armstrong can only go up after a rough 2015 season, and they're eager to get started. The Falcons are slated to open the season at Hopkins April 7th, and their first Northwest Suburban Conference game is April 12th when they host Centennial. So it'll be interesting to see how they fare with a new leader on staff here.
All right, thanks a lot, Jay. Still ahead, sunny with a very good chance of finding jelly beans.
A trip to the land of Easter eggs when we come back.
Finally, Maple Grove Church plans to host the largest Easter egg hunt in Minnesota.
Yes, signs are posted all over the Northwest Metro notifying people about an Easter egg hunt with 75,000 eggs. The 6th annual event, hosted by Maple Grove's Passion Church, is held at Maple Grove High School. And this is just a small sample of the candy that will fill those Easter eggs over the weekend.
We're extremely passionate about reaching our community and showing the love of Jesus. And we know that we don't have to go through extreme measures, but we choose to. We're very passionate about our faith. We're passionate about what Jesus has done for us, and we just want to reach our community.
To pre-register for the event, you can go to bestegghunt.com, and the egg hunt will coincide with 3 worship services at 9 a.m., 10:30 a.m., and 12:15 p.m. on Easter Sunday. Big Easter weekend.
75,000, that's right.
Wow, that's a lot of eggs. Yeah. That'll do it. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We hope you'll join us back here tomorrow.